Yiwen Cao, awards-winning filmmaker, is known for Chubby Café 2019 and Daoming Mei Ying 2018. She became the cover person of magazine Filmmaker Life August 2022. Yiwen Cao's powerful film, Release Nuclear Contaminated Water, earned a special mention at the Venice Film Festival and won Best Animation at Cannes. In this episode, we'll dive deep into her creative process and her vision for the future. Tell us about your career. You're a filmmaker. You've made quite a few movies that are out there. You're from China, living in Hong Kong. How did that come? How is it for you to become a filmmaker?
Actually, I'm not majoring in filmmaking. I study English literature in mainland China for my bachelor degree. And then I majored in business in California and China, Hong Kong. Though these majors seem not match my filmmaking career, they helped me a lot in directing and writing. And as an indie filmmaker, sometimes I have to be producer, director, screenwriter, and actress at the same time. Those business and literature knowledge help me find a balance with deep thinking and commercial potential. And the reason why I'm interested in filmmaking is because I want to heal people. I want to comfort people. And film is the most effective tool for me. I often put some realistic issues in my films and offer a creative solution at last. And I'd like to combine suspense and comedy so audience will not feel too heavy when watching my films. And after that, they may realize that they have similar problems in their own daily lives. And my hints in films may inspire them to change their behaviors and be better themselves.
What's your audience for those films? Who you're trying to talk to? Because cultures vary, right?
I have different target audience in different films. And this time, my film is for people. This time I have to refer that this time's my film. My film is about nuclear contaminated water. Yeah, and I want to shoot these films to arouse people's conscious of protecting environment. So this time, my target customers is all of people. But in my next project, I want to do feminism suspense. So at that time, my target customers are women.
So tell us, what's the process from coming up with the idea to actually finish a complete movie? And as you said, you had to navigate all these roles.
Actually, these films you referred, like Chubby Café, Graduation, and The Invader and the Defender, they are totally different films. Chubby Café is a comedy, and Graduation is a suspense short, and Invader and Defender is a one-take silent animal documentary. So they have different targets, customers, and I just do them by accident. I didn't plan to do them. I can tell you the story behind the scene about Invader and the Defender. Just one day, I came back home and found two pigeons had a big fight on my balcony. So I take the camera and recorded it. And that's a one-take documentary.
That's incredible. Having this availability, like it's a 24-hour job for you, right? You're
Yes.
attached to your camera, it's your body extension.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
You've been in US and then currently you're in Hong Kong. What do you think? We're all familiar with Hollywood, and I believe that right now the filmmaking industry, it's highly dependent on the current streaming industry. How what's your way to distribute your film to approach those audiences? And are they different in China? They're different in US?
Of course, there are lots of difference in filmmaking between China, Europe, and US. Actually, I didn't watch too many US films, so I know China and the Hong Kong market and China Hong Kong markets better. And for U.S. market, they have lots of money and they have lots of filmmaking companies, and they like to do commercial films, like you can eat popcorns and drink colas in cinemas and have fun. But I don't like that style of films. I want to make some films that have social values. Like we can put some realistic issues in that films, and the audience after seeing it, they can benefit from that films. They can reflect themselves, and they can get some hints from the films to correct their own daily problems. So I think Europe films and East Asian films have one thing in common, that we want to do some deeper thinking, not just for have fun. And that's why I like to attend festivals in Europe. Yeah, I think that's apparent difference. That's apparent difference from all of different countries. Yeah, up to my record experience.
So, I see. So every time you finish a film, what are your options to reach out your audience that you want to impact?
Okay, so
what are your options?
Actually, I'm still trying to solve the problem that how to approach more and more audience, because that's a big question for indie filmmakers, because we don't have that powerful resources to do distribution. Yeah, and so I have to attend festivals like Cannes, Festival de Cannes. I have to attend these significant festivals to let people know my work first, and then if they can give me more attention, just like you, give me more attention, an audience will notice my films, and then I can show these films to audience.
So you recently were in Barcelona at the India Awards, right? And I was reading, they did a beautiful interview that it's available on their website. And it was interesting for me to learn that you have this very profound approach in the filmmaking industry, as you reflected in this conversation, and you're trying to solve this problem of how to reach out to your audiences because you have a message that you think you will be transferred much more appropriate through filmmaking, right? How you manage yourself to put the budget together, like to get a return from your work?
Actually, for short, to be honest, for short films, seldom of people think they can get reward, get money from short films. So, and distributors like to buy features and at least long documentary. Short work is very hard to find their market. But luckily, we have in recent years we have some websites that can buy short films, just like in Singapore. Yeah, but they are very seldom, not very much, but that's a good trait to let filmmakers to think to have hopes that they can sell their short films. And I think for directors, many directors don't want to only do short films. They want to do features. Yeah, so their final target is to make features. So at that time, if you have a features and you can get selected by festivals, there will be some distributors to approach you, and that your soul will be solved. Your problem will be solved at that time.
So I was thinking as you were answering this question, like, do you think the Chinese market is serving better the filmmaking industry than US does in terms of distribution? Do you think there are more tools out there to compensate creators' work?
Uh, Not yet. Actually,
Not
in
yet.
in in America, they may like long features, yeah, or suspense, or some superhero commercial films. They like to buy this kind of films so they can sell it easily. But in mainland China, the market is, yeah, it's indeed big, but it's not easy to get in mainland China because it has its own rules to to buy films. Yeah, and it's hard for indie filmmakers to sell their films in mainland China. And I think in Europe that may be easier because you have very significant film festivals. And that's a precious chance to let indie filmmakers to show their films.
So, tell us, like, from the routine of the viewer perspective. I mean, we all know that in US and Europe, like, and mainly, like, it's very predominant Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these streaming services subscription for people to consume this type of content. And of course, then you have the vast, infinite ocean of YouTube that, like, it's not ceasing of constantly creating content. What is in China like a practice for the day-to-day viewer to use for entertainment?
Um, Filmmaking industry in China is very different to other countries. It depends on many big companies. It's really hard for indie filmmakers to sell their work to platforms because though China has a large potential of audience, there are just several platforms that can screen your films. And these platforms like to cooperate with big companies, and that can make sure they make money. And they don't like to buy indie films because they think that you're very new beginners and you don't have data, you don't have history, yeah, and they tend to buy some they tend to buy works from famous people who already sell their films successfully. They don't want to try the new filmmaker.
So then, I assume the only option out there might be like YouTube. Is it something like you consider, like, um, platforms that help, streaming for
Uh,
free?
in mainland China, we have our own YouTube. Not,
Exactly. Yes, you have
yeah, yeah. So that's
you
all.
have Youku, right? That yeah.
Youku and Youku and Tencent. You hear about Tencent? Tencent is a very big platform in China. Yeah, but I think industry is monology. Yeah, so only big companies they handles these big platforms. So it's all the problem that you can't sell your indie new filmmakers' work to the big companies. They only like people who already success. Yeah. So we have to
Yes, I
find
see.
a way in Europe because you have very important film festivals.
I see. And I was thinking, so for you, Youku or YouTube, it's not an option for your work, right?
For myself, I don't like uh, to make some short videos like TikTok. I don't like to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I see. I
Yeah,
see.
I want to write a whole stories in a film, and I want to make people have deep thinking. But short videos don't have that function, and people watch short
Yeah.
videos just want to have fun. So it's not suitable platform for me.
There are also movies in YouTube. It's just like, as you said, perhaps like the day-to-day user's mind is not to use the platform from that perspective, right? I'm just gonna sit down and watch a 2 hour movie on YouTube. Yet, it is a very vast platform.
Okay. Maybe you like to watch movies on YouTube, but maybe we have different watching styles in
Yeah,
different platforms. Yes.
exactly. Not really. I was making a point that like the artist wants its creation to be properly treated. So like putting it on one of these platforms, uh it's not feeling like the right place for like a filmmaker like you. And and it's very interesting the times we're living, because I think there is a transition happening where the viewers are demanding quality, edgy, something different that will challenge their intellect and will create certain awareness that they want more. And yet like the offering and the algorithms are limited to a particular style, right? So finding ways to bring this work closer to the audience, right? Maybe you're not going to have 20 million views, but maybe you're going to have 10,000 views that are absolutely obsessed and in love with your work. So how you find those 10,000, right? And we're living interesting times, I would say, in order to be able to tap into these communities and expose your work. There is quite of a big work you've been doing. Like as I was reading about you, preparing myself for this conversation, I saw like the graduation like did really well in the Dubai Film Festival. So you yeah. So you've moved around, and you know where is your place in the industry, and you've been awarded for it. Where do you see yourself, Ewan, in this upcoming years? What's your direction? Where you heading towards?
Actually, my final direction of making film is to heal my audience because nowadays people are under too much pressures and some people's lives are tough. I want to encourage them and comfort them. Do not be too persist in fame, money, authority, and love. Yeah, and I want them to pursue their inner peace, and that's my final target to do filmmakings. And right now, I think I'm just a new beginners, and I think I'm still do the ongoing journey. That's a long journey. So I need to find some help, just like some power from film festivals that can help me to get some attentions from some audience. And then I can show my work to them. And I have to keep making more and more films to let the audience notice me. And after that, and I believe that it is very difficult to make 0 to 1, but that will be much easier to make 1 to 100. Yeah, so I think I'm just a new beginner, and
Exactly, yes.
I have to just solve every difficulty that I meet. And I think if I have the right direction, every difficulty can be solved. And I think the fate will reward me at appropriate time. So I don't need to care about future. I just do the right thing.
Walk us through this picture. You show up at a film festival.
Oh,
Then what's your agenda as a filmmaker? What you have to do? Your work is being streamed in the film festival, right?
film festival, yeah. So do you want to know my work in festival, the Cannes Animation Day?
Like what is your agenda when you show up at a film festival? What do you expect to happen? Where are you seeking? How does it work for a filmmaker once it shows up in one of these film festivals?
Actually, I don't plan anything. I just finish a film and applied it to film festivals. And just like this time, my short animation is released, Nuclear Contaminated Water. It won an award on Festival de Cannes Animation Day, and it also selected by several Canadian Screen Award qualifying festival, which will be held in several months. And that was my first time to make animation. So my original intention is just...
Wow, it's incredible.
Thank you. But my initial intention is just aim to raise consciousness of preventing environmental disasters and wars and humans extinguish by showing the severe result of not controlling the impact of Fukushima nuclear contaminated water released. I just want to arouse people's consciousness of protecting environment. I didn't think much more. I just finished it and applied it and then selected by it. So I'm just focusing on now. I don't think too much about future or past.
So one of the things I'm thinking even is that
Yiwen. That's fine.
Is it seems that you have a style, like, you know, you won awards, you've been across the globe with your work, and your mission is to reach out people's souls, right, and transfer a message. So your goal is the audience, but you seem to have this wall, like that it's almost like up to this filmmaking industry to allow you to reach a broader audience, right?
Yeah. Film is the best tool.
Yes. And since your target is to arrive directly to the audience, if there would be a tool that you could bypass film festivals and instead of like them promoting your work, have influencers that will promote your work and spread the word, and you having the capability to sell directly your film, would you go down that path?
I think you concluded in a right way. Yes. And yes, big film festival will help us to sell our works and to approach audience easier. Yeah, but this time I just made animation short, not a long one. So short work are not very easy to approach audience unless you just put it on YouTube for free. Yeah, so I'm focused on making a long feature or a long animations, and I think that film will approach audience well. And just on the earlier June, this year, just several days ago. I just finished the long animations by myself and in 7 days. And its name is What's Next? It describes about the human's history, like long ago, like billions of years ago. And it shows a harmonious world at that time on Earth. But everything was changed from a selfish and greedy man appeared, and the timelines fly to now. And at the end of the film, I want to ask audience, what's next? What will happen next to our human? That's a film I just made.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
I think it's interesting the way you script and try to create a symbiotic relationship in between world issues and the emotional storytelling. So you do have your own style, I would say. Like we're doing this podcast for navigating these challenges that very talented people are facing by having the chance to address themselves directly to their audience, potential audience, bypassing the algorithms that are out there, or risking on their own path, right? Sorry, I would say like building their own path instead of relying on some of these platforms to buy them, and stream them. Like that's more of a faithful thing that you could be a whole career in standby waiting to be seen, versus having the chance to go directly. And one of the things we say is that as Olyn, as a company, is basically, it has happened in the e-commerce industry that before you would only go to a huge supermarket and pitch your product, and if they would have accepted you, these huge marketplaces, and then they will that was your success. They will feature your product and sell it to their main customers that are frequently going to the shops. Now with the internet, e-commerce and direct to consumer tools has allowed people to build small brands. Like right now you have very boutique small things that might not be selling big commercial, but they still survive and they offer maybe a better product than and more niche than the ones that are targeting a vast. So I like using this analogy that I think in order to bring extremely good content up front that challenges status quo, provokes a certain intellect to absorb different styles from different people that want to say something in an artistic way, as you do through filmmaking. I believe that there is a very powerful opportunity out there to give them the necessary tools to go directly to their audience, and instead of relying on festivals to spread the word on their film, them directly selling their film and relying on influencers and the audience to spread the word about it, right? And in the end, we've seen that viewers today, they want to spend their time in consuming content that has either been recommended or has been very provoked into their daily lives by creating this sensationalism that you gotta consume this, you gotta see it. Have you seen it? Have you seen that, those movies that Hollywood would? So I am I would say our main interest is to help artists and filmmakers and creators like you to bring up front this work and create this closeness with their audience where they can monetize their work. And this is one of the things I was very interested in navigating in this conversation, because, here, like, the type of people that watches this are the ones that are interested in becoming you, or maybe doubting if that's a path to be taken on. And every time we spoke even with 2 Emmy Award journalists that they like been having series on Amazon Prime, like, they're all concluding the same thing. It is time to let creators grow on their own by giving them the right tools, and there's so much yet to offer. But what we don't know is if these tools would ever be embraced by a culture like China. Do you think like the Chinese government would enable filmmakers to go directly to their audience?
Actually, in China, they don't prevent the patterns of new medias. It's all about what you talk about. Yeah. So I think when new technologies and the new medias, when they emerged, sometimes old people will stop it, and because they dislike new things. But we should know that everything has its merits and demerits. Yes, we can use new medias and like new streams to do some positive things. We can use it to achieve our positive purpose. So just like AI technology right now, I'm so embracing AI, and I'm trying to keep learning AI, because you can't stop it. It's very powerful, and it will take a big part of your daily lives in futures, and you can't stop new technologies. But if people are worried about them, they just worry about their negative impacts. So we should tell people how to use new technologies to achieve positive purpose. And we have to make many rules to restrict it, not to just stop it. So I think new things and like new technologies is the good things for us. Just depends on how we use it. And I believe that the Chinese government is a very, they have big heart. Yeah, they welcome new technologies, and they put many money on developing new technologies. So I think just like Westerners like you, and you have chance to get in Chinese market, and the Chinese people are very welcome foreigners. Yes, and they are very warm-hearted to welcome foreigners. If you travel to China, you will feel many people's warm-hearted. They will smile with you, and they will welcome you maybe to their home to have a dinner. Yeah, they have very warm-hearted. Yes. Yeah, so welcome to China.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, welcome both your company and you.
We're very interested because we believe, and I think this is something you said, that like through filmmaking you can create a message, right? So I think if we want to make the world closer to each other, like build that empathy among countries, right? There's nothing better than like go watch a movie that represents that culture, that place, right? Like that you will feel part of it. And I believe that right now this type of movies do not come to us, right? To create this, at least like take away people's misunderstandings of certain areas, right? And that groundness. All we know is like their news are taglines about bad things and sometimes rarely good things, right? And this is how we communicate about what's going on among countries and between ourselves. But we as humans, like, you're a filmmaker, I'm dying to watch your films, right? And through watching your films, I might understand a lot of things from culture, like landscapes, people, tone, music, and I'm entering in your world. And I think it's something beautiful when entertainment opens its doors, and we can consume movies that give us this empathy with, like, the world as it is, and we immerse ourselves in other people's lives, right? And other people's. So it's very warming to hear that, like, you being based in Hong Kong, you see how it is embracing new technology and wants to, like, support tech as, like, the main tool for people to thrive. What is your next steps, like, in terms of, you said you have a script in the line right now, you've been attending some film festivals, right? um how you actually, make money as a filmmaker?
Oh, actually, I have other jobs.
I
So,
see. So this is
yeah,
like, this is, yeah,
it's very understandable. Yeah. Because for indie,
exactly.
yeah, it's for indie filmmakers, you very hard to feed yourself at the beginning. But when you success, everything will be solved. So we have to do another job. And maybe some people to do many jobs at the same time to feed themselves. And that's very hard, but we can insist. Yeah, and actually my actually I want to introduce you about my upcoming project, because it's a feminism suspense. Yeah, and I think that may help many of people, especially women, when it's screened. So I want to spend some time on it. Yeah, and so my next film's name is Awaken. Yeah, which encourages people to strive. Yeah, awaken, just awaken, which encourages people to strive for equity. I create an extreme social situation in that film, which women only take 10% of populations. It sounds ridiculous now, but it has some realistic meanings. And nowadays, I think some people may think women are already equal to men because women can be educated and hired. But that's not the whole world really looks like. And there are still lots of things to do. In most of places of the world, women cannot get equal opportunities to have jobs and education. Men are much easier to find jobs than women, and even women working in Hollywood get much less pay than men. So back to my film, the main role's name is Anxin. Anxin is a common girl with common appearance, common intelligence quotient, and common kindness. She will remind you of your girlfriends, your relatives, or the younger you. Overall, Anxin is everyone, but she's so unique because she always have individual thinking and dares to say no. So in the film, you will see how an obedient girl gets in tragedies, and how could she change the world by using her independent and strong will. No man gaze. It will show you a wonderful world which is ruled by women and men equally. And that's what I want to express to audience and encourage women. So for my next film, Awaken, I hope audience can pay more attention on it. And I will be really grateful.
Yes, I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, as you were explaining it, I literally pictured it,
Wow, thank you.
and I could like perceive like how is your style of mixing science fiction with like, uh philosophical traits that we're all exposed in the day to day. My main, like, more than ever, you see, like, I justify my day to day, why I wake up and why I work so hard as in at Olyn, like why we as a team, because we believe that like your work should be paid, the audience should pay for it, and you should have all the possible means to go and address them and have them be the judges if the work was good or not. Some people might like it, some might not, but at least have the chance, to have that reach. And when I'm thinking how much good talent is out there and how much good content is out there that I have not had the possibility to see, but could have influenced me deeply for a motivational thinking, or for whoever story is. I yeah, I have this urge of feeling responsible to make sure that it does come into the surface, right? And it's been this conversation we've had, it's been a great reminder to not forget that all over the world there is very talented people like you, winning
Like you.
awards, having multiple jobs, building films, and being very good at it. And yes, like for example, right now I'm like, where's that movie? I want to see it. I want to watch it.
Thank you so much.
So I'm sure we're gonna continue this
Yeah,
conversation and maybe collaborate and help you bring that work up front, and reach the audience and
thank
put a
you.
price on your work also, that's
Yeah,
the
we
most
should keep
important,
in
I would say.
touch.
Absolutely, that will be no doubt. I'm really curious about your work, like seeing it, and I hope you are also very keen to learn more from us and understand how our technology works and how you can benefit from it. So we will leave that for another call, for
Yeah,
sure.
sure. Thank you. We can cooperate more in future. And your response reminded me of one thing. Interesting, when I was in a meeting of Festival again, and at that time, a producer in Paris, she's a girl, and she told me that when she when she is organizing, when she is planning a female film, and in the meeting room there were 10 people who can have rights to control the project, and 9 of them are men. And those men just said, I think women need blah, 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 blah. They need sex. They need blah, 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 blah. And they have much more power than that girl. And she was the only woman
Oh,
in
I
that
see.
room. And at the end, she can't stand that atmosphere and raised her hand, said, could you hear from a real woman? Yeah, so that's the situation. It's ironic, yeah, but that's fact. So, women like us and other women's, we should work together to show our real attitudes and let others know what
Absolutely.
we really think about. No man gaze in feminism feature. Yeah.
Indeed. Very much looking forward, Ewan, to see your work and to continue our conversations. And thank you for, opening us the side of the world that we're not so familiar about, and to your career. And as I said, very much looking forward to see your work.
Thank you, Anna. I will working hard for you and for all women.
we'll keep in touch. Yiwen, it was a pleasure. I'm sure like a lot of people will enjoy this conversation because you represent the unknown, and like, you know, we are all from the same world. Like it's a round globe that hangs in this universe, and it has to come together in a way. And I think filmmaking, it is the way. So thank you for accepting the podcast, and, you know, for exposing yourself and for not stopping.
Yeah, thank you so much.